Hi everybody, I'm making this video just to give my 2 cents to the situation. I think everyone obviously should stay in. Essential, going out for essential things means that you are out of toilet paper or you do not have any food. Like, don't go to the market because you need seasonings and this, that, and the other and little things. Essential, like you don't have food at all or something like that, not even for snacks and sweet tooth, stay in. Get with the exception of getting tested, please get tested. Number 2 and number 3, I don't think we should go to the hospital. All three of those are my 3 main takeaways. Obviously, we need to stay in, not only to avoid getting it, but to avoid spreading it. I think if there's anything going on with the black part of this, specifically with black people or people of color, I don't know. I don't think a lot of my black folks, I don't know if we're getting tested. And I think part of this, obviously there's a lot everybody doesn't know, but I think we're taking pictures with our mask and we're hashtagging and we're like, oh, look at me. I think a lot of us have it and don't know. So there's one aspect of keeping yourself safe, but there's another aspect of getting other people sick. And you could be out there, no symptoms, and spread it. And if it's true that they're saying a lot more black people are getting it than other people, a lot more people of color, that makes sense for me because I don't know very many black folks who are getting tested. Most of the folks that I know who got tested, me personally, the folks that I know are not black. So black folks and people in general, I don't think people are realizing they can have no symptoms. Okay, I got tested. Look at me, I'm not I don't look like I'm suffering, and I was tested positive. I had a doctor tell me I don't have it and don't take the test, and I took the test anyway. I took the test because that doctor's receptionist scheduled me for the test, told me don't miss it. They don't want to let people get a test. I didn't even let the doctor know. The receptionist had already scheduled me before the doctor and I had our video appointment. And the doctor was like, you definitely don't have it, and I don't want you to get the test, and have a nice day. Well, I went and got it anyway, and I've tested positive. So my quarantine is not just me not getting it, because there's no way to not get it. If you sit outside on your front step with the scarf, and the kid riding down the street on a bike has it, I think it's airborne, and they're not telling us because I haven't been anywhere particular, close quarters, not being careful, nothing. I've had the mask on. I've gone for just groceries and nowhere else. No 10 people, less gatherings, none of that. I've been in the house. So, because when you put mask in the picture, it's airborne. They're just not using the word airborne. But I think a lot of people who maybe the virus is just going to come and go, pass them by, not hurt them, could be just totally asymptomatic, just totally appear to not have anything. So if you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you got your mask on, you're taking your picture, you hashtagging, stay in, stay safe, all this, hey, let's quarantine, team quarantine, different stuff. I know it's all for the right effort, the right agenda. But I think besides staying in, I think maybe people of color, really need to get their hands on a test. You need to know if you have it. If more people of color than anybody is dying of it, which is what they're starting to say, then I think a lot of people of color who don't have any symptoms could be spreading it through their communities. I think as a person of color, I know myself, my community, we, I appreciate modern medicine, but I think we trust doctors too much. I had a doctor tell me, don't take the test. I don't recommend it. You don't need it. You don't have it. This is what she said. Because her receptionist was so adamant, like, once I schedule, you don't miss it. They don't want people to get these tests. This is what her receptionist said. So when I had by the time I had my appointment with the doctor, my virtual appointment, I didn't mention to the doctor that I had the test. When she said don't take it, I'm like, okay. And the next day, I went and took it anyway. And a week later, I'm still waiting to find out. And then I get the results. And the health department called me. And the health department, kind of was going on, like, there's some stuff that people don't know about. And no, they don't want people, they're not really trying to get everybody in these communities a test. So the problem is a lot of people don't know they have it. If you're in the market today, look at everybody in the market. Just take a second and look at everybody in that market. Everybody in that market does not have it. Okay? Everybody in that market may not have gotten a test. So all of those folks have no idea. But 50% of the people in that market, whatever store you've been in today to get your groceries or whatever, if they weren't essential, I don't know. It's like we should all Instacart. So maybe we got one Instacart delivery person to deal with versus a whole market full of people. Don't convince yourself that everybody in that store does not have it. Plenty of people in that store have it and have no symptoms. And you could be one of them. I was one of them. They could have talked to their doctor. I talked to my doctor. I'm a prime example. Talk to the doctor. You don't have it. I go to the store the next day to get toilet paper and this, that, and the other. I don't have symptoms. I had fatigue at best, and I thought it was my grieving. I just lost my dad. I was in bed every day. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to live without my dad. So I don't know. And then, at best, I could say I had some fatigue. And I was just adamant. I was very disappointed that my doctor was like, we're not doing a test, so I don't know, go find one. Whatever you're going to do, have a nice day. My doctor was just like, whatever. So I contacted my husband's doctor, my husband's doctor gave him a test early. My husband was like, they're proactive. I told you to leave your doctor. Go to my doctor. They are more like eager to test people. So I go to his doctor, and it was yes and no. His receptionist, her receptionist, scheduled me. Told me don't miss it. 1 second, scheduled me. Told me don't miss it. Had me scheduled successfully. The doctor though did her appointment with me. I'm talking to the doctor just like I'm talking on the video. We're looking at each other. We're talking. The doctor's like, nope, you don't have it. Nope. I mentioned my 18-year-old because he had no sense of taste or smell for a couple days. It didn't affect his appetite. He still ate plenty, but he's complaining like his sense of taste and smell was like barely there. He had been to the market. He had gotten supplies and toilet paper and everything else. Juice, snacks, all of that. I mentioned him to the doctor. She's like, no, you gotta have multiple symptoms. You gotta have a bunch of symptoms at one time, blah, blah, blah. All wrong. I went to that test anyway. I tested positive. So I had to kind of break my neck a little bit. My doctor, it's just like, whatever. My new doctor, my husband's doctor, was like, don't get it. It's the receptionist who got me through the loophole to get tested. And I don't even need to, according to the health department, and they don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows everything, but according to the health department, if you have it but don't have any symptoms, then you're just not going to have symptoms. You're going to be like fine. You're like an immune kind of person. Like, you can get it, but you're just going to be like me. Which kind of makes me feel good, but I'm like, how many people, especially, so if I would have listened to the doctor number 1, doctor number 2, and not gotten a test, and I go to the store, say I'm a single parent, and I'm like, I gotta be the one to go to the store, or I work in the supermarket and I gotta go to work. The people in the supermarket could be right there ringing you up. They might not have a glass shield in front of them. And that person, if I worked in the supermarket and I just went to work, I'd have been giving it to people. So I have to think that the person in the supermarket that's just ringing people up is giving it to people. I could have been standing right there when I'm standing there in the store getting rung up. That could have been who gave it to me. She could look like she was fine. I look like I'm fine. In the black community, everybody could be walking around like, hey, I'm good. I'm going out, coming right back in. I got my mask on. I'm hashtagging. I'm being careful. I'm being creative. Look at me. You know how we do. We got our little posts and everything, and that's all good. But I think we are missing tests. I think I'd like to understand that people, everybody who can, everybody, black, white, Asian, Latino, Mexican, Canadian, Australian, African, or any of all the African countries. I hate when I say African, like it's not like it's one country, but it's not. I know it's not. Okay, but everybody who can get tested. The knowledge is power. There's something going on. Let me go back to my 3 things. Obviously, we need to stay in. Not only just for, number 1, stay in, but not only for ourselves, but so we're not spreading it. We could have it and be spreading it. You could think you are perfectly perfect, and you could and probably are spreading it. Oh, if I go to the market right now down the street from my house, there's a bunch of people in there. They got us going in little by little, and then you get in there, a bunch of them people got it. They have to. If I had it, a bunch of those people got it. I mean, it's just simple. Oh, they got it from one of the market people. I don't, So stay in. Like I said, we were getting more toilet paper. We were getting snacks. We were getting this. We were getting groceries. Because they tell us, if you got to stay in for 2 weeks, you better have what you need. What if you stayed in for 2 weeks and they say, oh, it's going to be 2 more weeks. Oh, and the market doesn't have anything left. We'd be stuck. So people want to have a good stockpile. So, I understand just going back to the store and having more than enough, which is what we were doing. But, and then that testing once, like my husband tested negative, but he thinks if he gets tested right now, he will test positive, because he didn't quarantine for me, but he don't have any symptoms, but he could have it. He had a mild fever, came and went. It was with him for like 3 hours, came and went, just gone. And this is a person who tested negative, so we're like, What if he's positive now? He's been to the store. He's been around me, a person who tested positive. We had to get tested and get tested off. Like how the president said he's going to start getting tested often. Like you have to get tested and get tested again and get tested again and get tested again and get tested again. Like we have to you could not have it and then have it and all of that. So besides staying in for yourself, also we know we have to stay in because we are spreading it to other people who don't have symptoms. And maybe that's part of what's happening in the Black community. I don't know. If it's true that we have higher numbers of this, I'm always skeptical to believe, we're just predisposed or genetically we are going to more likely have it. I don't normally subscribe to all of that versus a behavior. So if a lot of us are trusting our doctors but not getting the test, if the doctors are telling us don't bother, here's this young, relatively healthy person of color, they don't need to bother. I'll save it for the 65-year-old person. Maybe not a person of color at that. If that's happening, I don't know. So, if we have it more, if that's true, I don't even know if that's true. If that's true, why? Because I think we're walking around having it, we don't know. I don't know if we're really seriously getting the tests in our communities, our Black and brown communities. So stay in for yourself and for other people, number one. But number two, if you step out for the test. Get that test. Don't worry about what nobody says. You just need to know. You need to know because you need to understand. You need to keep everybody in your house protected. You might be good. You might walk around with no symptoms, but you might have an older person in the house. Or you might have a teenager. Or your children. We might have anybody in your house who you don't know how they'll respond, even though you're walking through it like it's a breeze. And you don't know how your kids are going to respond. So at one point, I was really like, keep Ethan away from me and let me whatever. Because I'm feeling fatigue, and the fatigue just feels a little odd. At best. A little, it's annoying. It's like a little confusing. Is this grief or is this fatigue? So at that point, I was sort of like, maybe I should be separated a bit. I don't know. I haven't had a test. So, everybody in your house might not be like the same level of healthy where it can just blow past them. So, get tested. You need to know the healthy people walking around, the people that are walking around appearing healthy need to know. Because those people are going to the store today and tomorrow and just keeping it going. Thinking they're good. That's another thing. You'll have two people together. You'll have one with a mask on, one without. What's happening with the one without their mask on? That person could be giving it to people too. So you got that. Third, a lot to do with the benefits that are going to be recognized from jobs or the government or wherever might need to have a burden of proof that sure, all of us were staying home. We were staying home because we were mandated or we were told to stay home. Our jobs closed, all that stuff. But some of those benefits, however you slice them, whatever the benefit is, whatever the help is, the assistance from the job, from the government, they're going to have something to do with testing. And I tell you why. Because my spouse's job, he works from home. And my spouse's job has a benefit in place right now for their employees where if they themselves or their spouse test positive, then they get a certain type of paid leave relevant to this COVID-19. because they know that if that other spouse is down in any which way, be it flu symptoms or just fatigue or whatever, if they got any of these symptoms, that changes everything for their employee, who would then have to deal with kids at home and homeschooling, grocery shopping, separating people and quarantining people within the same house, dinner, every little thing, and then still try to work. They know that would be a certain stress on their employee, so they're offering a certain benefit. But with my spouse's job, it is specific to having a positive COVID-19 test. See, now if I've been told not to get the test by one doctor, I was told, I don't know how to help you. If you can find a test, good for you, by another doctor, then my husband's experience could have still been, oh, how am I supposed to do this work from home when I got to do homeschooling and I got to go to the market and I got to cook and I got to clean and this, that, and the other, because my spouse is like in the bed or just chilling, like having some kind of fatigue. We really don't know what's going on. I don't know if she's sick or if she's just fatigued. I don't know if she's grieving. We don't know. We wouldn't know. So his experience still would have been one that's more difficult and stressed, and his job wouldn't have recognized that at all. They wouldn't have put him in, he wouldn't have qualified for any benefit coming from his job. So I say that to say, while we're all coming out of this and trying to figure out how to recoup, if people need to recoup financially and get back on track and qualify for this and blah, 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 it's going to have a lot to do with whether or not you had positive testing. I was reading an article in LinkedIn about Lyft drivers. Lyft is paying their employees, their drivers who test positive, they are paying them what they normally make. Like paying them if they tested positive, which means you had to have a test. So you figure if you have it and don't know, but you staying in the house, and obviously you're not driving Lyft, you're staying in, then Lyft is not paying you. You just don't have no money. You just broke. If you're staying in trying to be careful, if whatever, and you think you're being successful, you don't have, maybe you don't have it. I don't even understand, even if you got the test and the test said you didn't have it, why they would not pay you. I think they should just pay all their employees. Like, we're all, if you got it or you don't have it, aren't we all not able to work? I mean, if you don't have it, you still don't want to go drive Lyft. So I don't know, but coincidentally, if you have it, symptoms or not, and you got a positive test, Lyft will pay you. See, so that, my husband's job, it's going to be some scenario. Those are two scenarios that I know about. There's going to be some scenarios that come through. There's going to be a handful of stuff relevant to assistance and everything that have something to do with, did you test positive? You could have been walking around with it, giving it to people in the stores, thinking you're fine, you're just sleeping a lot, not thinking much of nothing of a cough. I thought about as much of it as I thought about just clearing my throat, maybe I had a cough at night that I could barely qualify as a cough, but at night I might have coughed and been like, oh, that cough, that's irritating, can't quite, and even if I kind of felt a little tickle, I'm gonna call it a tickle, lack of better words, it's like a tickle, like an annoying tickle, like, I wish I could take a good deep breath. But I'd be in the store the next day, not knowing anything's going on. See, and like I said, okay, so let me go back over it. This is the last time, but just so I can summarize the three points I know I'm trying to make here. Stay in, because symptoms, no symptoms. I don't think, people don't know if they have it. Stay in. People could have it and don't know. Don't forget, you could have no symptoms or one symptom. You could have a doctor telling you don't have it and have it. So stay in. With the exception of a test. Get tested. Black and brown people especially, get tested. I don't know if it's something happening with our communities or tests being kept from us. I don't know, but just if you can get your hands on a test, get it. Knowledge is power. You just need to know what's what. You need to know. Number 3, the positive of a test versus you felt fine the whole time, or I felt bad but I didn't get tested. It just passed. All of that is going to play out when we get to qualifying for stuff relevant to support that starts to come through for this thing. Is going to have something to do with, did you test positive? Did a doctor or a test tell you had it? That is going to be a qualifier. Mark my words. So you be sitting there like, well, I don't know, I didn't. No. Get tested. Get tested. Because I think people don't know, period. And it's black and brown. If it is going through the black and brown community more, from my lens, looking at my friends and stuff online and talking to my friends and family, and everybody thinks they're great. I don't think people know, and I'm thinking I'm great. I don't think people have any clue if they have it. I think people have no clue. I think they don't, and they could. And that could be something. Not again, knowledge is power. We don't want to be ignorant, walking around just not knowing. This ain't something you can just know or feel, or I feel okay, or I think this, or this person looks this way, and I look this way, and da 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 da. This not that. This not that. This not something we could just sort of assess and take a look at and be like, use your own discernment in that way. This is a virus that needs, the science has to tell you. So that the science has to tell you, because you could be asymptomatic. You could not have any symptoms. And I want to celebrate that though. I mean, at the end of the day, if you can breeze through this and not have any symptoms, that's a good thing. I thought they wanted to know about that anyway, so that they could understand why some people go down. Like the 27-year-old girl who worked at the market at Giants, and she went to the hospital on a respirator, then she died. I'm like, and they said she had no underlying conditions. Like, what is that about? Oh, my other point. I'm sorry. I don't think we should go to the hospital. I think people stand a better chance of just letting it go by, no matter what their symptoms are or aren't, then I don't know about the hospital. I think if you kind of got something going on and then you go to the hospital, it seems like it pushes it along. I don't know if it's just too concentrated there. I don't know about the hospital. Because there's a reason why I tested positive, but symptom-wise, it's just it's just a breeze. And I hate to use, I know I might get criticized for using that word, but it's a breeze versus what I hear on TV. That's kind of how I mean it. And I feel like if I went to the hospital, I mean, is it too concentrated and it just, next thing you know, you're on a ventilator? I don't know. And the doctors are like, this was a healthy person. They didn't have underlying conditions. I'm hearing that. We hear that. That's what we keep hearing on the news. So, I don't know. I'm not saying don't go. I'm just saying, I don't know about the hospital. People I know, I would say, can you weather it? I mean, if you can't breathe at all, that's one. Maybe that is, you got to have an oxygen machine and a ventilator. But if you are just uncomfortable or have a symptom or two, get your test, because you need to know what's what. You need to know if you have it. Like I said, the whole qualifying thing is going to be an issue. And you don't want to go out and be giving it to people and have no idea, because you looking and feeling good. You're giving it to people in your community. You're spreading it through the community of black and brown people, because you're looking and feeling good. So we need to know. But a drive-by test, no hospital, and stay in. Those are some things I really want to say for my 2 cents. So please, everybody, stay safe. And there's plenty of things to do in the house. I'm not trying to make light of it, but there's plenty of things to do in the house. We take care of some major stuff. With this time, there's plenty of quality time we can spend with our families. But on a more serious note, knowledge is always power. Please get tested. Everybody, especially black and brown people, because if there is something going on, you won't know. We won't know, because we don't know if we have it, don't have it. Find out. Understand the science. Get tested. Don't get deterred. Don't get told no. Be your own doctor to a degree. If your doctor says you don't need it, ask your doctor, can I get it anyway? There's people who don't have symptoms. I need to know. I don't want to not have a symptom and go over my mother's house and then give it to my mother. I mean, I went to my mother-in-law's house to take food to her. Because why wouldn't I? I went right on over to my mother-in-law's house. See? And then if I have this, and then if something happened to me, God forbid, and she's feeling fine, but if something's happening to this person, if the numbers are high with the black folks, why? What's going on with the test? All right? So I'm going to jump off this phone, because I think my whole family is on their way in my office right now. And I've got things to do around the house. I can clean this office. So I'm going to sign off. That's my 2 cents. Please, everybody, not only stay safe, but get tested. Get the knowledge. Know what the hell is going on. Like, understand what's going on. Don't be scared to get the test. Don't be scared to tell people, give me a test. Okay, you're a doctor and you don't think I need it, but I know there's people who have it and don't have symptoms. So, give me a test. Like I said, my scenario is a doctor saying I don't have it. I tried on over to my mother-in-law's house, older woman, giving her food. They could have us all in the red. I could be fine and she not. Or she could be fine and the lady who, her next door neighbor helping her out with a grocery or two, she's not. So if it is something going on in the black and brown community, it's the lack of tests. If we want to qualify for stuff when this is all over, I bet it's going to have something to do with the test. and otherwise stay in. Again, not only for yourself, for your whole community. Your whole community. The store should have like 3 or 4 people in it, not 50 people, because half of them people got it. Okay? That's the end of my rant. Signing off. Until next time.